better not say this. I was really scared, but the nurse said, she said, no, stay with me. What happened? She said, why are you holding your privates? Did somebody do something to your privates? And then I started to begin to talk a little bit. And I was saying, no, what I was trying to let her know is that I had embarrassingly.
Yes. Not uncommon.
So then she told somebody, she said, oh Lord, she's cold to the touch. She's cold to the touch. And so she went out and they said that I needed to be transported to the hospital. So then, because they know not what they do. And then the lady came over there and she said, I need for you to wipe your tears. And she said, I need you to be strong because I seen, and I know your only job is to stay alive. I need you to stay with me. I need you to stay alive. And I'm going to make sure that you get to the hospital because I don't want them to see you cry. I don't want them to see you weak like this. We're going to be better than this. And so I tried to straighten up. I just kept crying because I was humiliated because I was in urine. I was humiliated because they have my hair all over my head. And I don't know if you guys know about Muslim and stuff, but we only expose in front of our husbands.
Oh, I'm very well aware.
Only have the right to see my body, see our long hair. That's not the right of everybody. He had no right to expose me, so she got my gator back, as they say, gator, and put it back on my head so that I can have some form of some kind of dignity. And then I arrived at the hospital, and the first two officers was really nice. Then there was another officer, and I cut on the TV, and he just started being me, cut that down right now, and he was talking to someone on the phone and his friends and stuff, and I said, I'm the patient. You're not the patient, and I can't hear. If you don't cut that down, I'm getting lightheaded again, but I'm gonna take you and have you not being able to. He was just really threatening to me, and I think that maybe he was one of the ones, because the other two officers that sat in there with me was very nice, but this officer immediately just started just being really funny acting. So then.
Okay, this is Sergeant Sweeney of the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. Today's date is 1/19/24 and the time is 11:19. This statement is in reference to OPA file number IA23-015 concerning the matter of inmate Tolbert's booking. This is the interview of Linda Williamson, last name spelled Williamson. The interview is conducted at Snohomish County Jail. There are two people present in this room. Linda, are you aware this statement is being recorded?
Yes, I am.
Do I have your permission to do so?
Yes.
Would you like your personal information listed as non-disclosure?
Yes.
Be advised that your identity may be revealed if, upon completion of this investigation, the investigation is requested for release pursuant to Washington State Public Disclosure Law. For purpose of this recording, I ask that you please wait until the questions have been completely asked before you answer, and to please speak or state your response clearly for the transcription process. Okay. What is your position at the jail?
I am the classification supervisor and PREA coordinator for the Snohomish County Jail.
And what, briefly, is a quick description of your duties?
So for the classification supervisor, I am in charge of the classification team, which is responsible for the classification and housing of all inmates in the Snohomish County Jail. I am also the supervisor for the chaplain and religious services, as well as programs offered to inmates. As a PREA coordinator, I am responsible for the coordination of PREA activities inside of the Snohomish County Jail and any reports made into or going out of this facility related to PREA concerns.
And how long have you been doing that job?
My hire date for classification supervisor was May 16th, 2023, so approximately 8 months now.
And what were you doing prior to that?
Prior to that, I was a classification specialist in the classification department.
Right. Do you recall an inmate, Sharon Tolbert, being booked in on December 19th?
Yes, I do.
Did you have any interactions with her?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe what you had as far as an interaction?
So I was asked to come down by Sergeant Woods to see if I could examine the headgear or the handkerchief or the head wrap that then inmate Sharon Tolbert came in with. He stated that he would like me to come down and look and see if she would be allowed to have that head covering while she was in our custody. I went down to the booking area, and the inmate stepped in, asked if she could step into the change-out room, and Deputy Nason was there, and we asked the inmate to remove her head wrap, and that was given. It was like a handkerchief type of, or no, what do they call it? A gaiter, I believe. And Deputy Nason looked through it. The inmate at the time remained in the room where nobody could see her, and I gave verbal approval for her to go ahead and use that as a head covering while she was in our facility until we could obtain something in lieu of that.
And did you relay that to the sergeant?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you talk to her about meals or anything like that?
I asked her if she was going to want to have special meals if she was Muslim religion, and she said yes, and I gave her the information on how to fill out a kite and sent that request.
Okay, but you didn't promise her any meals down in booking?
I did not.
You just told her the process to go through to get special meals?
The current policy for requesting religious diet, yes.
Okay. Did you have any other interaction with her throughout the night?
I did not.
Oh.
I was trying to remember whether I did, but I did not.
Okay. Is there anything further you would like to add to your statement?
I was told later in the hall the next day that somebody yanked the gaiter off of her head and told her she couldn't have it.
Okay. Is it true that the facts stated in this recording are true and correct to the best of your knowledge, and that your statement has been made freely, voluntarily, and without threats or promises of any kind?
Yes.
Do you certify or declare under penalty of perjury under laws of the state of Washington that this statement is true and correct?
Yes.
As a reminder, you are directed not to have any communication, reference this investigation with any potential witnesses, with the exception of your representative or attorney, until after the investigation is complete. If you violate this directive, it may result in disciplinary action. Further, any attempts to retaliate against any witnesses or party to the investigation may result in disciplinary action. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, would you please sign right there? Time is now 11:25, and this can conclude this statement. Today's date is 1/23/24, and the time is 15:01. The statement is in reference to OPA file IA-23-015 concerning the matter of Sharon Tolbert's booking. This is the interview of Deputy Osborne, last name spelled Osburn. This interview is being conducted at Snohomish County Jail. Also present during this interview is Deputy Blankenship. There are three people present in this room. Deputy Osborne, are you aware the statement is being recorded?
Yes.
Do I have your permission to do so?
Yes.
Deputy Blankenship, are you also aware the statement is being recorded?
Yes.
Do I have your permission to do so?
Yes.
Be advised that your identity may be revealed if, upon completion of this investigation, the investigation is requested for release pursuant to Washington State Public Disclosure Law. For the purpose of this recording, I ask that you please wait until the questions have been completely asked of you before you answer, and please speak and state your responses clearly for the transcription process. Have you received written notification of this complaint?
Yes.
Do you understand the allegations that have been made against you?
Yes.
Deputy Osborne, what is your current position?
I'm a deputy with the Snohomish County Corrections Bureau.
And how long have you held this position?
I've been here just shy of 2 years.
On December 19th, you remember working in booking and dealing with an inmate, Sharon Tolbert?
I remember parts.
Do you remember what turnover, if any, you were given in regards to Sharon Tolbert?
I was not given turn down. The first hour of shift I was in training in 5 South.
Were you part of the discussion about her hair covering with Sergeant Thomas in booking?
Not an initial conversation, but one that followed up after this incident.
Okay. So, were you made aware of that her head covering had been authorized at any time?
At the end of the incident, when Sergeant Thomas had informed me that it was approved, I went back and got it and returned it to her. So that was the moment that I was made aware that the neck gaiter was approved.
Okay. What was your interaction with Emmett Tolbert when you went to check on her in cell 5 prior to the medical condition she had going out to the hospital?
I went to process her. She was laying on the ground, breathing. She seemed like she was cold. So I was just trying to urge her to get up. We can get her blankets upstairs, get her processed.
Was she responding to you in any way?
She was making small noises, grunts, nothing beyond that.
Okay. Did you shake her in any way to get her attention, or
Not to my recollection.
okay? So did you remove her head cover during that interaction?
Towards the end of the incident, I had knelt down. Her neck garment had been half covering her face, half covering her head. So I removed that as a safety security practice to see if that was impeding breathing, movement, anything like that.
Okay. When you removed it, did her head smash the ground or
No.
hit the ground or anything like that? Or
No.
Once you left the cell with the head covering, what did you do next?
I went over and set it on the property table. I looked for medical in that office. They weren't in that office, so I went directly back to the medical office in the back of booking and retrieved Nurse Hardy.
Okay. So, when you went to her in cell 5, when you first interacted with her, did you use your feet to shake her in any way or kick her or anything with your feet?
Not to my recollection. I don't remember kicking her at all.
Okay. What about shaking her with your feet? Anything, I mean...
I might have used my foot to her shoulder or her back. Definitely nothing to her head, but I don't recollect touching her with my feet at all.
Okay. So, as a general rule, would you ever shake someone's face with your foot?
I would never, head or face, I would never use my foot to contact that area of the body.
Okay. So after the interaction, were there, when she was sitting in front of the booking desk there, did you hear any inappropriate remarks made
None.
towards her?
Oh, sorry. Wait for the question.
No, it's okay. Did you hear anything derogatory about the Muslim religion or Taliban or terrorists?
None at all.
Okay. And you didn't make any statements like that?
No comments.
Okay. No comment or no?
Well, no
okay.
comments
Okay.
on
Okay.
religion or any
Got it.
derogatory terms. Sorry.
Got it. Okay. What conversations did you have concerning the head covering and all that?
Asking the sergeant if the neck gaiter was approved via policy. That was the conversation with Sergeant Thomas, was that I was part of after, right? Was the clarification, asking for clarification on policy dictates that they can have a department issued head covering, but here we have a neck gaiter that had been approved. We're asking for clarification on how this was approved.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Is there anything further you would like to add to your statement?
I just ask if you're aware of the statements being made on social media by this individual, the claims.
I'm aware of at least one.
Okay.
I don't know. Friendship, is there anything you want to add?
No questions.
Okay. As a reminder, you are directed to have no communication reference this investigation with any potential witnesses, with the exception of your representative or attorney, until after the investigation is complete. If you violate this directive, it may result in disciplinary action. Further, any attempts to retaliate against any witnesses or part of the investigation may result in disciplinary action. Do you understand this?
I do.
Yes, would you please sign with this officer? You know, so it says witness. Funny, on this form it says witness. On the regular PC form, the witness statement form for it says investigator signature. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, the time is now 15:11, and this will conclude this recording of this statement. This is Sergeant Sweeney of the Snoco County Sheriff's Office. Today's date is 1/22/24, and the time is 12:56. This statement is in reference to OPA file IA 23-015 concerning the matter of inmate Tolbert's booking. This is the interview of Deputy Chambers, last name spelled Chambers. This interview is being conducted at Snoco County Jail. There are two people present in this room. Deputy Chambers, are you aware the statement is being recorded?
Yes, I see that it is.
Do I have your permission to do so?
Yes.
Would you like your personal information listed as non-disclosure? Non-disclosure, usually people want, if they don't if they have the choice not to have their information given out to public. They
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah. However, be advised that your identity may be revealed if upon completion of this investigation, the investigation is requested for release pursuant to Washington State Public Disclosure Law. For the purpose of this recording, I ask that you please wait until the questions have been completely asked before you answer, and to please speak or state your responses clearly for the transcription process. Deputy Chambers, what is your current position?
Corrections deputy.
And how long have you held that position?
About 20 years.
Okay. On December 19th, an inmate Tolbert, Sharon, got booked in on around 3:30 day shift. Do you remember this individual?
Yes, I do.
So she had, she claimed she was Muslim, and she had a hair covering, which is basically a gaiter. Do you recall this incident and all that?
I believe it was like a cell phone, T-Mobile or something, cell phone gaiter.
Yes. Okay.
She was wearing on her head.
Okay. Just want to make sure we have the same. But that's exactly who we're talking about. Okay. Were we ever told if that gaiter was authorized for her to wear?
There was some question about it, whether it would be authorized or not. There was some discussion, and I think later on, Sergeant Thomas said that she could have it, I believe.
Okay.
From what I recall.
Okay. So you remember the conversation with Sergeant Thomas where you could was it all the booking staff together, do you know? Or was it just you, or who was all involved with that conversation?
I think Deputy Hoff and Osborne. I think Cy was there too, but I don't know. I don't recall if she was sitting in the area, but basically the whole booking crew.
Okay, do you recall what time this was? Beginning of shift? Middle?
I don't recall.
Okay.
It was definitely a little bit later in the shift, not
Okay.
early.
What type of interactions did you have with inmate Tolbert on December 19th?
I didn't have any interaction with her verbally. Zero.
Okay. When you were all sitting behind the counter and all that, did you hear any inappropriate comments made with her situation or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, the conversations was about, well, about whether this is authorized or not.
Okay.
The gear. So
Okay. You didn't hear any? Did you hear any jokes about Muslims or Taliban or terrorists or
No.
anything like that?
nothing of the sort.
Okay. Did you happen to see the interaction that Deputy Osborne had with her prior to her medical emergency, where he went over there and made first contact with her before the medical emergency?
He was walking around the booking area and checking the cells. If I remember correctly, he went over to cell 5, and I guess she was laying on the floor inside the cell. And he opened the door, and I believe that he called for medical at that point.
Did you see him kick her 3 or 4 times in the? I mean, obviously you wouldn't have been able to see
No.
where, but did you see anything that indicated that he kicked her 3 or 4 times?
No.
Okay. And then as far as the food goes, Cy went around with the food cart. I know that, and she stopped at cell 5. Did you hear any of in the conversation between her and the inmates in cell 5 by chance?
If I remember correctly, she offered her food, and I think she didn't want any food, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Is there anything further you would like to add to your statement?
No.
Anything I missed or anything that you think is relevant? Okay. Is it true that the facts stated in this recording are true and correct to the best of your knowledge, and that your statement has been made freely, voluntarily, and without threats or promises of any kind?
Yes.
Do you certify or declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that this statement is true and correct?
Yes.
As a reminder, you are directed to have no communication in reference to this investigation with any potential witnesses, with the exception of your representative or an attorney, until after the investigation is complete. If you violate this directive, it may result in disciplinary action. Further attempts to retaliate against any witnesses or party to this investigation may result in disciplinary action. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Would you please sign the document as indicated on the witness?
The witness signature?
Time is now 13:03, and this will conclude this statement.